And then the main event, we are doing a March Madness bracket. So we're going through 16 different pickleball companies and ranking them March Madness style, based on innovation and paddles and everything.
Until we find a winner that we're going to crown the champion of the March Madness Pickleball Effect Brand Bracket Challenge. Welcome back, everyone, to the Pickleball Effect Podcast with Braden and Aaron. I'm Braden. That's Aaron. Together, we are...
Yep.
Braden and Aaron.
Yep.
That was it. That was my intro. That's what I got.
Well done. For episode 116, 17? What are we
17.
at? I always know. 17?
17.
For episode 117 of the Pickleball Effect Podcast, today we are jumping into Under Review. For Under Review, we have WesDawg joining us. For those who don't know who WesDawg is, pickleball content creator, recently gone full-time. He does pickleball humor with some Instagram reels. He's a 5.0 plus player. So we're going to have him on, give us a 3.0 to 5.0 kind of tip of things he's working on, and then just get to know Wes a little bit. Wes has been a friend of the show for a while, so we want to get him on. Then we're jumping into Airing It Out. For Airing It Out, I'm keeping it a mystery, but it might involve the main paddle monitor. So mystery no longer. And then the main event, we are doing a March Madness bracket. You can't call it a racket, but it rhymes. So we're going through 16 different pickleball companies and ranking them March Madness style, based on innovation and paddles and everything. And so it's going to be a good show.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, we did this for the first time last year. And March Madness is such a fun time of the year. One of my favorites. Do you make a bracket every year?
Oh yeah, of course. I was using like Claude, making AI models, doing like the Kim Palm reporting. Yeah, I was getting deep. But then of course, it really doesn't matter how much research you do or don't do. Your bracket's more or less toast. I think I got like an 80% positive bracket right now. How about you? How are you doing? Right.
I'm in like 60s right now. It's not good. Malia, my wife, she's in the 90s. She's kicking butt. Except she had Gonzaga winning the whole thing.
Everyone did.
Oh, and at least that and they're out already. But like everything else in the bracket's like perfect. But no, dude, I had a lot of fond memories of this growing up in a family. I remember super early on as like a little baby Braden, we would wait for the Sunday paper, and that's where we would see the reveal of all the teams. Yep. We'd fill it out there, and we had a tradition that whoever won got to go out to dinner with the parents. So it was we still do that today. It's pretty fun.
Did you ever win? You ever win growing up? And where did you go get dinner?
I can't remember. I imagine I won at least once.
Oh, okay.
There's 6 of us, so it's a tough pool, big pool. But no, man, this is a fun one, and we're I've been sick all week. I'm a little cranky, which I think is the perfect mood to get into something like this. You gotta be that. I'm on like day 4 of my disease, and it's just like compounding, and like just one bad night after another, and I'm just really mad that this thing is still here.
Bad day to be a paddle company. Bad day to be a paddle company with big stomping. But
regardless, this is gonna be good. All right, bro. Tell me your week was better than mine, though.
Yes, my week was better than yours. There you go.
I'm happy for you.
I had a tough week too. Work's picking up. April's like so busy, but we are blessed to be here, blessed to take an hour out of the day to talk about pickleball, and blessed to piss off a lot of brand owners. That is the biggest blessing.
I have this like horrible thing about myself that when life is like down, I like don't allow myself to like be sad or grumpy or angry, because I'm like, Braden, your life is so good. You're not allowed to be sad.
That usually works. Yeah, that works.
It's not healthy. But that's what happens to me. I get in this real negative spiral.
Speaking of negative spirals, you want to jump into Under Review? Tell me about Under Review. What's happening today?
I'm just going. Thank you for, you just be in charge today. Just keep things on track, making sure we're saying good things. But yeah, go.
Okay, so now we're jumping into Under Review, which is Braden's segment. So I'll toss it back to him. You tell us what's happening in Under Review.
Oh, okay. I'm prepping the Under Review. Yeah, one of our buddies, WesDawg, he's a content creator. You'll see him on TikTok, Instagram. He does a lot of comedy shorts, but he also does a lot of instruction. He does pickball full time, and this is what he does. A really good player, really high duper. So we wanted to get him on. Introduce you guys to him because he's a good follow, and to do like a 3.0 to 5.0 thing. So let's do that. Wesley WesDawg Hanson. That's my best announcer voice.
Dude, that was pretty good. I feel that gave me chills.
Welcome to the show, man.
I'm exciite to be. Yeah, I'm excited to
What
be
was
here.
that shoulder thing? Is that a thing people do? What's that?
That's what happens when I get nervous, I guess. Like I'm in the presence of greatness right now.
No, dude, we're pumped to have you on, man. I originally came across your content, I don't know how many months ago, but it was on TikTok. I saw one of your videos on TikTok, and it was hilarious. And I just started like binge watching all your stuff. And then I followed you on Instagram, and we started chatting since then. You're doing like the PPA Pick'em thing with us.
Yep.
And so it's been fun getting to know you a little bit better. And so help me understand this. You recently went full-time pickleball. I want to get a little bit of this story. Like you're doing clinics. You were, I don't know, like what's full-time pickleball? What's that story? What's that look like for you?
Who the hell are you, and what gives you the right?
Yeah, no, those are, yeah, exactly. I moved up to Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm from Georgia originally. I was working a full-time job for a nonprofit. I was playing pickleball once a week, and I was at open play. But I'm not gonna lie, I was wrecking. Like I was wrecking people in open play. And I was like, this is a joke, dude. Pickleball is so much fun, but so easy. And then long story short, everybody in our team for this nonprofit kind of got let go. It no longer exists in Raleigh, type of situation, but they gave us a pretty generous severance package. So I was like, okay, I can take a step back. What do I want to do? I loved playing pickleball. I thought it was easy. And I was like, I'm going to try and become a professional pickleball player. I feel like it's new enough to where you can do that. There's no academies.
Everybody has that thought at least once.
That's the original
start,
thought.
Right?
Most people don't have
it's
that
my
thought.
own experience. No one's ever had it before. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to become a pro pickleball player. Have no idea what that means. I played golf in college and wanted to play professionally for a while, but that didn't pan out. So I was like, I kind of know what it takes to like be disciplined and practice at a high level. But I was like, I'm going to try this for this kind of random sport. And then I started drilling, training, doing all that. But I, in the meantime, got a part-time job at a coffee shop, and then started playing in a bunch of tournaments, and then decided I was like, I need to make content if I want to get noticed or get any sort of sponsorship to be able to fund this thing. Because let's be honest, pickleball is awesome, but nobody's really watching a whole lot of pickleball unless you're pretty deep into the community. Yeah. So for a brand to be like pretty into you, I figured you probably need to make something that's like worth watching that can get like you in front of people. So I started making content, and a little comedic niche, hopefully, make people laugh, like bring joy that way. And then got a job coaching. As I got better and better, I started getting noticed and people wanted lessons. So now I work at an indoor facility doing lessons and clinics and camps and things like that. And then started doing content more and more regularly. And that, I've learned a lot about that as well, but like started getting sponsorships and running, helping with ads and things that I care about, and started making a little bit of money that way, and was able to like fully make the jump and say, I'm going to do pickleball full time and kind of see what happens with that. So that's kind of the roundabout story there.
Nice, dude. Good for you. So are you doing like the quality grind? You're going to PPA challengers. What's that look like?
Yeah. So I was doing I did qualies a couple times, and it didn't go too great. That was like pretty early on for me, and it's so much money. Like to do, like if let's say you do all three, men's, mixed, and singles, you're paying about almost $300 per draw, and you could show up and lose once and be done for the day. So you're dropping, $800-900 to play. And then let's say you play great and you get through, then you're playing Ben and Gabe first round. It's like, I just don't really know if this is worth my money. And I don't know if this is worth like the time. Like I'm not really getting anything out of this. So I've started doing the PPA challengers. I've developed a relationship with some of the people that are running that, and they're doing a great job. I've had a couple like quarterfinal runs in PPA challenger stuff. And then there's a a pro series called the Brick Wall Pro Series, which has been popping up kind of along the East Coast, but I think they're going to expand to some different places too, where it's a large money ball tournament, but like all the money that you put in gets put into the pot. And then there's like probably 36 teams that play in it, and you're playing for like a couple grand each, so
there's like off tour events that you can go compete in and make a little money from.
Correct. Yeah. So any of the like local money ball stuff that's happening, like I'm playing in that and doing pretty well, where you're making, $500-600, and then you can travel and play in like this Brick Wall Pro Series, or, some other facilities will have a money ball like once a year that brings in a couple grand or something like that. And so there are a lot of guys that are like, would travel around and just play in that, that are not doing like PPA type of stuff.
Aaron, do you do any money balls or anything in Arizona?
Nope, because I suck and I'd lose, but I would. So,
but is there stuff going around like that around you? Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, a bunch of cash games, visual spots, Arizona cash games. Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
Nice. Didn't realize there was this off circuit way to make a little cash that way.
Dude, it's just for the resident 5.5s who can't make qualifiers but just want to bully the locals. That's all this is. They're not good enough to like go beat anyone meaningful, but they just beat everyone else who's dedicated their life to being a high level 4.0 player. That's all it is. Tell me I'm wrong, Wes.
There is a little bit of truth to that, unfortunately. I would like to have a rebuttal, but it's kind of true.
Well, I'm one of the guys getting spanked. I don't make. They do little local money balls here that I do, but like if you win, it's like $50. But it's fun doing cash games. Puts a little extra pressure, makes it more interesting, gets the competitive juices out. Well, cool, man. We so you got all that going on. You're doing all the instructional stuff. We Aaron and I were talking about the other day, and we are like, it would be sweet to have Wes come on every once in a while. You're funny, your content's cool, and but you're really really good, and you're the instructional stuff I've seen you sprinkle into your content's really solid, and so we thought it'd be fun to have you on here and there to do some instructional pieces and help people improve. So we asked you to come prepped with something. We don't know what you're going to give us, but I imagine it'll apply more to Aaron than me.
Okay.
Well, let's see what you got.
It's going to be absolutely life-changing for both of you, I think. And you can hold me to it. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about. And I think, if this becomes a thing, I'll have a little bit more space. But I have a clinic coming up where I'm going to be teaching on like how to do well in the transition zone. And so I just figured this is top of mind right now. Let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's talk about it. So
let's do it.
The overarching theme is I would like people to hit their resets. So when you're in the transition zone, you're kind of you're playing defense at this point. Let's say both people are established, your opponents are established at the kitchen line, and you are trying to work your way to the kitchen line to start dinking, whatever, but you're not there yet. So you're in transition zone. I would like people, when they're hitting their resets, to hit them much more linear. So I think a lot of people are really worried about making the ball bounce in the kitchen, but oftentimes that leads to a lot of errors. Like you're popping the ball up too high and then the point's over immediately because they're just hitting it overhead. Even if you hit a great reset that's high, lands in the kitchen, it's still going to bounce up pretty high, and they're still able to take a step back and really still put a lot of pressure on you. So strategically, it makes more sense to hit resets that are going more linear so that opponents aren't hitting down on the ball. So they'll either have to hit up on the ball at the kitchen or around like the height of the net, which gives you a chance to make kind of one more ball. And at around the 4.0 level, give or take, whatever, more often than not, making one more ball can result in you winning a point, even if you are not at an advantage, right? You're at a disadvantage. And so how many times, like, have you been playing open play or whatever, have your groups where you make another ball and then you see somebody just overswing, dump a ball in the net just because you got another one back, like, and they're shocked that you did that. That happens pretty frequently. So with that, that's kind of the tip. I have some more thoughts that can go into
more
that.
linear resets. Well, question, just follow up on it. Okay, so I think like when I'm taking a reset, like I'm trying to absorb pace, land it in softly, like more traditional. To make it more linear, do you have to go at it a little bit? Do you have to almost attack it to some degree?
Not necessarily. I don't think. I do think there are resets where you're like fully absorbing the energy of the ball, right? And you're trying to make it land in the kitchen. I think that's great. I think that's a harder shot. I think that requires you to like really be dialed, maybe drill a little bit. I'm not saying there's no place for that shot, but I'm saying for maybe the more typical pickleballer, it may be in your best interest to not necessarily be aggressive, but hit a shot that is a higher percentage where you're hitting it back, but you're hitting it back low to where they're not able to like really be super or hit down on the ball right back at you, if that makes sense.
So you're punching it a little bit.
You're almost punching it. And I think if you watch guys at the highest level, like if you watch Ben Johns play, seriously, he will oftentimes like not hit a full reset. He'll hit like this kind of normal looking, not a drive, but like if he's kind of out of position, he'll just kind of slap one back across the net to where he can get more set, but he slaps it back that's like at net height to where he can get where he needs to be able to then move into the kitchen.
Yeah. So the idea here is put a little more pressure on them, get not back to neutral. Like you're I guess you're in defense, you're trying to neutralize, get them to swing up on it. You can step in it, create off of that. I like that. I haven't heard that take before. Aaron, you heard that one?
Oh yeah, big time. I actually taught a class on that one about 5 years ago. So slightly recycled, Wes, but still relevant to my game. My bigger question is this for something out of the air, off the bounce, or for both? And how do you practice it? Because like linear to me doesn't like equivalent to like, are you changing paddle angle a little bit? Is it like, what's the difference between like a block, like a little short hop one where, and then like how can someone kind of go and practice this to where they feel like they're hitting the ball a little bit lower versus like say, like, I get that you want it more linear, but like, what the hell do I do with my paddle when I'm getting my ass kicked in the midcourt?
Sure. I would say this is probably more often than not out of the air, where maybe they've hit a ball that's like trajectory maybe coming a little bit more down, but you're able to hit it out of the air versus like trying to hit a half volley or like a short hop type of situation. I think it gets very difficult to try and like time that and hit a good shot, even if a slap shot off the bounce right back at somebody. For practicing it, I think it would be like you just standing in the transition zone and somebody up at the kitchen line and they're feeding balls and you're just playing a point out, but you're not moving from the transition zone. You're staying kind of 2 or 3 steps back from that like non-volley zone line, the kitchen line, and looking to take a few more balls out of the air and hit more of like a slap shot. I would say like paddle angle when it comes to like actual technique. I think I would not recommend trying to hit this with a bunch of spin. I think some people may be like, well, I need to hit this with top spin. I don't think it needs to be that. I think it'd be pretty flat. So I think like a pretty neutral paddle angle, like pretty square, and just like the swing path also like pretty horizontal versus if you're trying to hit top spin, right? Like you would go low to high. I think you hear that a lot. I think for this, it's more of just, we're just trying to make one more ball and hit it back and honestly kind of surprise them that you didn't just like try and hit just this perfect reset that lands in the kitchen and now we're playing real pickleball. This is like, no, I'm kind of not in a good spot. I'm making one more ball and I'm seeing what happens with it.
Yeah, no, that's dope.
When let's say I'm in the transition zone, I'm established, I'm in a good spot. Is this more like if you're off balance trying to make one more ball, or this is like your go-to, I'm going to look for this shot over the reset, like if I'm in like a staple position?
Good question. I think if you are super confident in your resetting ability and super confident in where you are at court positioning wise, I think go for a reset. I think go for a typical reset. Maybe if you don't feel super dialed with your touch, or maybe you're playing with a new paddle, or something like feels like slightly off, maybe I'm a little bit off balance, I would go for this shot where you're just hitting one that's a little bit more linear, more closer to the height of the net, versus trying to hit like a higher level reset that's making the ball bounce.
Gotcha. So if you're a little stretched out, you're getting pressured, you're making one more ball, rather than try to make it perfect, just kind of slap it over the net, reset, or like reset yourself, your position, get ready for the next one, maybe step in and follow it up.
Correct.
As almost like a bailout ball of sorts.
And you're not even trying to hit this hard, right? You're not trying to hit a winner from this position at all. You're just trying to hit one that is another shot where they can't really attack it so much, but gives yourself time to get back fully into the quote unquote right court positioning.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, cool beans, man. I'm gonna go mess with it. I can see a world too where I'm doing that to a degree. Even when I am established, I have good footwork to put a little more pressure on them, follow it up. Because anytime somebody's swinging up on it, there's an opportunity to take a step in,
Totally.
and like they'll often leave that up a little bit. Like they'll try to do too much with it, right?
Absolutely.
And so you can probably follow that up and do some things with it other than just as like a bailout shot. There's probably, I don't know, I'm going to go mess with it. That's fun.
Mess with it and see what happens.
Dude.
We know you're a Carbon sponsored player. Is it possible to hit one of these shots with something outside of a Genesis, a Waves, or a Barrage? Or does it have to be one of those paddles to really unlock the effectiveness of this shot?
It's got to be with one of those paddles, and I've got a discount code for you too.
Hey, okay. Wes, hey, man, thanks for coming on. We really do appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, y'all. This was a lot of fun.
All right, Wes. Well, looking forward to have you out again. Appreciate the tip.
Today's episode is brought to you by Pickleball Central. If you're unsure about a paddle, they've got a 30-day test drive program that comes with every new paddle purchase, so you can play with it and see if it really fits your game. Plus, if you go through our link in the description, it will apply the best discount on all their paddles. So go test out that paddle you've been thinking about. All right, and we're back with Airing It Out. This week on Airing It Out, it's been a minute since we talked about the main paddle monitor. Braden, what the hell is the main paddle monitor for someone who's been living under a rock and doesn't know? You tell us, and then we'll cut back to Airing It Out.
It's a web application. You go create an account. You tell it what your paddle you're playing right now, along with about 1,600 other people who have done the same thing. It aggregates all the information. There's like live leaderboards of what the top paddles are. I have big plans for that here in the next month or so. I'm going to turn that into a phone app, and I got some community elements I'm going to add to it. So it's going to be a really cool thing where you and I are hopefully going to be hanging out in a lot. But yeah, it's a cool thing that's going to get cooler.
It's basically LinkedIn for your paddle. I said this 6 months ago. I'll say it again. Yeah. Except instead of stupid career updates, it's just a bunch of people documenting their paddle decisions and emotional instability. So if you haven't checked out Main Paddle Monitor, it's really cool. One, to see kind of the stats of what paddles, different Gen 3, Gen 4, what percentages of power paddles, control paddles people are using. So there's like high level industry data that's valuable. And these are all like pickleball junkies like me and you. And then 2, there's the paddle journeys, which is what we're going to dive into today. And paddle journeys is you can kind of log your main and why it was your main, why you switched. So we're playing main paddle monitor, paddle journey guessing game. We played this 6 months ago. We're playing it again today. I'm going to read a person's profile in the main paddle monitor, go through a few of their paddles, and you have to guess what their current main is. Okay. So this is a 4-0 player at McCullish. McCullish started with the GX2 Power Hybrid, and then he switched to the Boomstick Wide Body. He switched because
big power guy.
The Boomstick had a lot of craze, and he wanted it. And then he switched to the Boomstick Elongated.
All right.
He said, I tested the paddle, and there was almost no drop-off in sweet spot from the Wide Body, so might as well play the Elongated. And then, McCullish, we have you going back to the Wide Body and says more control than the Elongated.
He's not wrong. He's not
McCullish
wrong.
is playing the Boomstick Wide Body, and now switched to his current main, and he switched to this main because exceptional overall play and feel. Braden, what is McCullish's main paddle in 2026? Good luck.
I'm going to say he went back to the elongated Boomstick.
That would be a great answer. Good switch up. No, McCullish
Q2
is maining. That's another great answer.
No.
I actually think that would probably, if I would have you, I would have guessed that. The Aura Pro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So McCullish is maining the Aura Pro, but the Q2 I think is a really good guess. If I was a Boomstick main, I think I would also be curious about the Aura Pro. Okay, next we're going into Kamaman Halim. He's a 3.5 3.5 level player.
Comma man, like the comma you put in a sentence.
Kaman. Come on, Halim. Come on, Halim. Da, na, 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 na. You know that? Come on, Halim. Anyways, what's OT? Out of OT, is that a state?
I think I know who
what state's OT?
Who
Ota?
I'm thinking of is
that a different country?
a guy
Where's OT?
in Malaysia.
Oh, yeah, it might be. Okay, so we're gonna come on. Started with the J2 and F, and then went to the boomstick wide body, then to the Friction Pro elongated 16, then to the Loco standard shape. You switched to that one because it just says switch to a new main paddle, which I think is the default answer. Okay, so and then what is Kaman's current main, going from the J2 and F to the boomstick wide body to the Friction Pro elongated from the Loco standard? What is their next main? This is a tough one.
Pro V.
Pro 5?
Mm-hmm.
The Spartus P1 hybrid is what they went to.
Yeah. Pro V.
Yep.
I always say V or IV when I'm like talking about those YOLAs. People give me crap. They're like, Brian, those are Roman numerals. I'm like, I know, but that's not how I say it. Get over it. Okay.
All right, last one on journeys. You're going to get this one right. I'm feeling actually, now that I read this, there's no chance you're going to guess it right. But here we go. This is another 3.5 level player. This is at CW Peterson, based out of the US, a 3.5 level player. Come on, CW. You're probably better than a 3.5. CW started with the Prism Flash in October of 2024, and he just marks it's his first paddle. He then went to, this is an OG, the Pickleball Apes Pro Line Energy S.
Okay.
Wanted a little bit more power and pop. And then in last year of November 2025, switched to this paddle. And they say, trying this foam paddle based on reviews. It's a blend of power and control at an attractive price. What is CW Peterson's main? Again, they switched to this in November 25, so that's a hint.
Ooh, that should be a good hint.
It's a balance control, power pop, maybe
That's
aggressive
cheaper.
all core, foam core
Was the
at an attractive price.
Was the Quanta the only one that was available there at $100 in the foam? I'm going to say Quanta.
Quanta?
Doesn't really
The
fit the
answer is
profile. That's just all I can think of.
Honolulu J2
Oh, of
FC
course.
Plus. The J2 FC Plus. It was staring at you. It
was,
was right
man.
there.
You
whole
were
time.
like, you were feeding it to me and I couldn't get it.
I was trying to give you like control or all court plus,
Yeah.
but 0 for 3. I mean, that's pretty tough to get someone's main.
For sick
it's
brain,
a little bit
for
easier
sick
when
brain,
they got.
give myself a break.
But that's Aaron and out. We're keeping it short this week, and we're just saying, hey, main paddle monitor exists. Go in there, update your paddles, and then leave some comments on your paddle journey. You never know when we go in there and pull data to talk about your paddles. So if you wanna get featured on the episode, the best way is to go in there and be active in the main paddle monitor. Braden, back over to you.
All right, we're going to do what's this section called? Paddle Babble.
Paddle Babble and gear.
Yeah, we do this one every week. All right, March Madness. We're doing brand battles. So we got 16 brands that we picked out that we're going to put head to head until we find a winner that we are going to crown the champion of the March Madness Pickleball Effect Brand Bracket Challenge. There's a few new brands I wanted to point out that I didn't put on last year. So these are just 16 brands that I just picked. I just think these are the 16 that I think have the most momentum, most things going for them right now. It was actually it's always tough to do, pick the right brands. You can't always get it right, but did my best. New ones this year. I have Enhance in there. We got LUZZ in there. We got Friday in there. These guys weren't in there last year. We also have Franklin in there. I didn't have Franklin in there last year. I'm actually surprised I didn't have Franklin in there last year. I'm not sure why I missed that, but we got Franklin.
It was right before, C45 full lineup wasn't out, right? I think they had just had that hybrid out. They were kind of delayed with the 14 and 16 dynasties and everything else. So it was probably in that weird period where just the hybrid was out, but it really was like one paddle wasn't enough really to make them relevant in the conversation, maybe?
Could have been. We'll say that.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna let you MC it. And we're just going to debate these back and forth until either, some of these I imagine we'll just agree. Some of these we'll have to kind of argue until one of us gives in. But we'll go from there.
Okay, so we got 16 paddle brands here. I'm screen recording, so you'll be able to see. A shout out to Braden for making this beautiful bracket.
Not bad, right?
If you let's just walk through the little user experience here. If you zoom in, looks like a lossless app, so we're not really losing quality by getting larger. So it's interactive. You can go up and down. And I think, you know what, Braden, we might actually share this link out later. If you guys want to do your own brackets, let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. But you don't have a podcast, so your answers are worthless and stupid compared to ours.
Right.
Okay. We're going to start the round of 16 here. 11-6-24 versus Gearbox. Braden, what are you thinking and why?
Yeah, it says 11-6-24. I think they got more momentum. They got the grit going for them. Gearbox, I always appreciate them for their innovation, what they got going on. They've got some paddles I've really liked in the past. But 11-6-24 seems to hit the market better than Gearbox does. I'm saying 11-6-24 on this one. You?
I agree. I think 11-6-24 with the innovation of Hexgrit. They were one of the top dogs in paddle innovation. They were sneaky with the MPP core. Plays great. Doesn't have traditional MPP thonkiness. But some things with Gearbox, a really great release last year with the GX2 Power, finally embracing edge guards, just coming out with the GBX. I know a lot of people haven't spent time on that, but revisiting Gen 3 through cold press technology. And I think I see some reasons to pick Gearbox, but I think the innovation of Hexgrit combined with a non-core crushing foam core paddle, 11-6-24 is just one of those paddles early in 2026 where it's going to be a hard paddle to beat because it's doing so well with some of those new technologies. I agree, 11-6-24.
I feel like the brand itself is making moves too. Like they just signed Deckel. Like they're getting a larger market presence that way, a more seen more often. And I think that also gives them another point in this battle.
But by no means, I think Gearbox could win. It was matched up a little bit differently. I think going against 11-6-24 and the round of 16, 11-6-24 is kind of a buzzsaw right now with the amount of momentum and hype around them.
11-6-24 won it last year. Like we had them winning it. And
it was 11-6-24 versus Carbon. I have this line cemented in my head. It was durable Gen 3 technology versus the future of foam. And I think we ended up picking 11-6-24 because at that point, Carbon only had the True Foam Genesis out. And we were just really impressed with the Power 1 series from 11-6-24. So funny to see them back with a new durable grit and foam cores. Isn't that crazy how much things can change in just 1 year?
Yeah, and I remember saying something like, if I was going to invest in a company right now, it could be 11-6-24, I think was the line I used. And I was right. I should have invested.
You were right. I mean, durable grit technology in less than a year. I mean, if that doesn't pay off investments, I don't know what does. Okay, number 2, we are jumping to Enhanced Pickleball versus Vatic Pro. So we have newbie on the block, Enhance, YouTube company, YouTube instruction, Dink Master, finally getting into paddles with the Gen 4.5, then the Enhanced Duo, which was unique in its own right. Then kind of creating some budget kings, which is more Vatic's play with the Enhanced EPP and MPP Turbo, MPP being a really unique value versus tried and true Vatic Pro. I mean, this is the company that made the Prism Flash. This was the budget king. They embraced kind of foam early last year with the Vatic V-Sol Pro and Powers. Pros really being popular, elite shapes. So this is kind of, I see this as battle of the budget kings. How do you see Enhance mapping up against Vatic Pro?
This is tricky. I think Enhance has an edge in innovation. Like I think their duos stand out here when we're facing these two brands together. Vatic Pro, they're very good at taking what works and making it cheaper and applying all their shapes to it. And they have a lot of shape options, which I think really stands out and makes them unique. And boy. Who
do you think has the stronger brand in 2026? Who's got the stronger?
I think Vatic Pro has the stronger brand. Their
brand reputation,
known,
maybe
bigger. I think they have a larger reputation. I think I definitely see more Vatic Pros than I see Enhances. When I look at code usage, Vatic Pro still gets used more consistently. I think there's a bigger market presence for Vatic Pro. Enhance is still a pretty new player, and they have a lot of good things going for them. I think that the MPP $100 move is something unique to them. Plus the Duo, which is the more premium offering that's or maybe, I don't know if it's more premium, but it's something different. It's theirs, and you can always appreciate a little innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I'm going to make you pick first.
It's tough. I mean, I don't think this conversation would be nearly as close if Enhance didn't come out with the EP or with the Turbo MPP. I think that's what makes this conversation really unique, because Vatic forever has made great paddles at really performing at available prices. They came out with the Saga, which was a little bit more at those 10 millimeter cells. That one did good, but it was kind of creeping into foam era. I think Vatic probably has better shapes. They really, everywhere between the V7, they're doing long handle, short handle. Shout
options,
out to
I value more options, and they make it pretty simple. Like they have the long handle, short handle, like 3 shapes, but long handle. Like it's just, it's for $100 paddle brand. Like you just don't see that many options, which is nice, but it's still simple enough to understand and buy.
I'm going Enhance only because I think they have a little bit larger of a foam core portfolio, you could say. I think the fact that they have their Duo is, you get that stiff, dense, crispy feel combined, and then you can jump to a budget Turbo if you want to go EPP, and then something as unique, kind of following the footsteps of the LUZZ Inferno MPP. I think you go Enhance just because of affordable foam versatility.
I was gonna say Vatic Pro. Let me ask you this question.
Question away.
6 months from now, who do you think is in the lead between these two brands? If we're looking at future outlook, 6 months to a year, who's going to be the leader? Which one's going to take? Maybe one.
I'm still with Enhance. I don't want to get political, but there was some carbon Vatic legal matters, and so I think that's going to put Vatic a little bit behind, regardless of whose side is on. I think when we saw that with JOOLA, kind of going through some lawsuits, there was some delays in innovation. I think Enhance knows that they have the paddle market's attention right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see another paddle in the next 3 or 4 months, again from Enhance, either following trends or something unique. I think their brand equity, they were just on Pickleballers, is at an all-time high. For me, I'd pick Advance over Vatic in the next 6 months. You?
Okay. No, I like that argument. I think you pushed me over the line. Let's go Enhance here.
Enhance. Okay, now this is Battle of the Boomers. We have Selkirk versus Paddletek. These are older, historic pickleball companies, very established, very well known. What are you thinking when you're thinking Selkirk versus Paddletek?
Paddletek just hasn't done it since the Bantam for me. I don't think they've had a release that is because like they were on top for a while and they were looking great. Then they lose Anna Lee and they haven't made a release that has kind of caught my attention since then. And I think they're kind of going down a little bit. They they have made some consolidations recently. Maybe that'll bolster them up.
Acquiring Pro XR.
Things like that. And so maybe there's a future for them, but to me, I feel like the brand's a little stagnant at the moment. And Selkirk has more things going for him, man. They got the boomstick that is still wildly popular. It's $333, and I see it everywhere. And it plays great.
Tell me about your take on that honey foam. I don't know if I ever heard you mention it. So if there's any Paddletek enthusiasts who are watching the pod, do you have like a quick breakdown of what you thought, your like quick thoughts on their Paddletek honey foam was?
Yeah, it was softer. And like it was one of those paddles where like, it's fine, like it's good, but it's not. There wasn't anything that like kind of stood out to me. It was a little twisty. You had to weight up, and you could be a little finessey with it, but I don't know. It didn't have any wow factors to it.
Lost in the foam shuffle. Yeah. I'm with you on this. I think Selkirk is still riding the coattails of the super successful Boomstick. Still an era fan. We haven't really got to experience the Dauntless and some of these new Geo paddles, and so I think it's worth putting some more time in. They're clearly still investing in foam. I think this one's a little bit easier. I also picked Selkirk over Paddletek round 1. Okay, jumping into our last one on this side of the bracket. This one's going to be a tough one. We have Carbon versus Friday. Oof. Friday makes their first entrance into the Pickleball Effect bracket.
Welcome Friday.
Welcome Friday. But does the dawn set on Saturday, or are we staying with carbon. That was supposed to be a joke. I don't really know what it meant. What are you thinking when you're thinking carbon versus Friday? Carbon making some of the most consistent. They were the first to foam. Friday's catching late. They're kind of playing iteration. They've like seen the market. Now they're coming out with a splash with the Aura Pro. They're signing Kyle Kazuta. They're signing Rachel Rohrenbacher. But Carbon's making moves too, dude. They just signed Diescu. They just came out with the Barrage. Like these two are going 13 rounds. What are you thinking when you're thinking Carbon versus Friday? Because for me, this one's a knife's edge.
Yeah, this one's brutal. Oh boy, Carbon. Okay, their paddles. They're $280.
Don't hurt yourself.
They're good, but they're not. They don't wow me at 280. I need to be wowed at 280. But there is a market presence there. I see Carbon still, and Fridays. It's up and coming. They're making paddles. They've actually been impressive with, they're not these engineer dudes. I think Carbon has a stronger engineer team, stronger innovation pipeline. I think they have more capabilities and could design cooler things than Friday. But Friday has surprisingly kind of made some of their own stuff. Like their little LastTech thing has really worked with the Aura Pro, really digging it. And, they've kind of managed to make and carve out their own unique paddle, which is tough to do. Instead of mixing something that works instead of just copying what everyone else is doing and just making it cheaper. They're making moves on the pro scene. But yeah, man, like it's tough to ignore Carbon, even if I think the way feel the way I do about their paddles, like just the brand is so strong, the market presence is so strong. They have a lot of things going for them there. If I'm gonna go play in a tournament tomorrow, I'm gonna play a Friday. But if I'm going to wear a shirt, I'm going to wear a Carbon shirt.
Oh, dude, so well said. Well said. I actually agree with that take. But to back up Carbon here, how long did you main that Genesis?
I did. I did. I made it for like 6 months.
6 months?
It was a long time.
So you're just so quick to throw that out the door?
Yeah.
Now that the Friday Aura Pro's here and it's unique?
For me, this is, with this being, I don't know, I guess we're battle the brand, like how much emphasis do you want to put on brand versus paddle performance? I think I picked Friday.
It's got to be
just because I'm going to play their paddle in the tournament tomorrow versus the Carbon. What about you?
I like the Barrage a lot. The Barrage is my favorite Carbon. I didn't connect with the Genesis as much. Even though it was like wildly popular, it was super durable. First Gen 4 entrants. They're kind of the godfathers of foam cores. And then the Waves, everyone knows what happened with the Waves, but the Barrage kind of saved them. I think this would have been an easy win for Friday if the Barrage hadn't just come out. I think the Barrage really does add a lot of offense and some of the needs that the paddle has without it being like a crazy elite power paddle like the Boomstick.
Mm-hmm.
But the Friday Aura Pro is really unique and interesting as well. The brand is at an all-time high. They're investing in pros. The Friday brand, they've done a really good job of slowly inching their audience up from like the casual 3-5 player to then releasing like more performance paddles at $100. Friday Aura Pro comes in at what, 160? So I mean, that's just a really good price for a performance paddle.
Right.
Both companies don't really have durable grit textures. I think, those are needs that if one of them would push it over the edge. But Friday's making performance paddles at sub 200. So I think that's a really big deal. But the Carbon brand is super strong and true. And I like the Barrage.
You're liking the Barrage more.
I think I'm Carbon. You're Friday?
I'm Friday. If Carbon's Barrage maybe had like a durable grit, like maybe that pushed over the edge for me. But I don't know. What do we do here? We're at a crossroads.
Carbon or Friday. So Friday makes it into, but you wouldn't put this out there without the Aura Pro, because you were kind of a little schmedium on the Aura. What'd you think of the Fever 102? Let's get some Gen 3s in here. Let's expand the conversation.
Yeah, the Fever 102s were just okay to me. I think the LastTech, the Rilla rubber band thing works better than the foams. It almost dampened it too much for the polypropylenes. Really, it's kind of just the Aura Pro that's pulling it for me. Their other stuff is, they were kind of in the lead or part of the leaders of the budget talk for a while, but I think that's kind of faded a bit with the onset of Vatic Pro and Enhance and some of these other players. So it's kind of just, I guess, as we're talking about it, it's the Pro that's pulling it for me. And but maybe you look at the whole package. Carbon, like they have the barrage, which is better. They have the branding, the presence. Maybe Carbon wins here because of the full package versus just the paddle that I was thinking before. What do you think? Or am I giving in too easy here?
You're giving it too easy.
You think so?
I've had a moment of clarity. The sun has shone through. It's Friday. The brand's at an all-time high. Content is alive and well. They're making acquisitions with the pro game, and now they've come out with their first performance paddle, which is risky, and it was a winner. Friday, I think, barely upsets Carbon here. That's my take.
This is an upset, though. This is an upset.
You down? You down to go Friday?
If you'll agree with me on that one, let's do Friday, though. I almost talked myself out of it there.
I had to talk you back in, I guess. All right, we're jumping over. Ooh,
man,
it doesn't get easier.
Why
man.
Are we doing this to ourselves? This is brutal.
We have LUZZ Pickleball, LUZZ. People have been calling it loose because of Spanish and like light. Anyways, LUZZ, we're going LUZZ. LUZZ versus 6-0. Man, now LUZZ they've got some sicko fans versus 6-0. Finally, after 2 years, comes out with 3 paddles, and they're pretty good. Where are you at with LUZZ versus 6-0? Because I think I have a winner off the cuff, but I want you to talk me off the edge.
Oh man, I do not have a clear winner in my head. Let me think this one through. Did you see the recent announcement though of LUZZ and their little like R&D program that they're going to start doing?
No, tell me about it.
They're doing like a Selkirk Labs type thing.
Okay.
And anyways, this just tells me they're trying new stuff. They want to get stuff out there and experiment. I think with them being a Chinese brand, like they can probably do R&D more than a lot of these American brands, just because like they're making the paddles, right? And they haven't missed recently a lot. A lot of their like the Inferno is big for so long. The Blade 2, we talked about last week, wasn't crazy about, but they're still coming out with new stuff. Their Gen 3 lineup is solid and a great price. Great. And like those are still cooking. 6-0 has a great platform. Like I really think that they have really unique stuff, really unique tech that's theirs. They're very patented right now. Like they own a lot of their IP, which goes a long ways. And I think is gonna hold water for them and pay dividends big time down the road. And I just absolutely love the Coral. Really,
the Coral is what makes this conversation relevant. I think the Opal, I hit it again last week. When was the last time you hit the Opal? I forgot how deep and like thonky that thing's like dong, dong.
It's been a minute since I picked that one up.
Man, I just wish the Coral had the I wish the Opal had the sweet spot of the Coral and was toned down a little bit, because that's one of my favorite feeling paddles. It's got this kind of like soft, sort of spongy, but like it feels, oh man. It's really challenging. LUZZ has done, they have a lot of paddles out, right? You got the Pro Cannon, you got the Glider, you have the Inferno, the Tornazo, you got this new Pro Blade 2. So there's a lot more paddles for more people. So it's easy to say, what are you looking for? And then they probably have a paddle. And their most expensive paddle is what, 200? Which I think for a performance paddle is like, I'm totally okay with paddles charging, or brands charging 200 for a higher end performance. But I feel partial to 6-0 because the Coral, I think, was such a winner. It's such a beast of an alt-core. It's got a really good wide body. We have seen better results with longer lasting Diamond Tough, which, maybe it's not the most elite durable spin texture, but it's definitely better than raw carbon fiber.
Yep.
So at that point, they have a platform. I feel like I trust 6-0 to make a more innovative, better paddle in the future. But I think LUZZ has more winners right now.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Oh man, what do you pick then? Who do you pick?
I think you pick LUZZ, dude.
You think you pick LUZZ? My opinion is that I think LUZZ has a really bright future. I think they have a lot going for them. 6-0, I think is in a really good place right now, and I see more 6-0s than I do LUZZs, at least in my area.
Yeah, no doubt. I've seen a ton of Corals.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust that what they'll make in the future, I think, will be like really unique. The Inferno was pretty unique. They really embraced MPP early, which I think did wonders for them.
Yeah, they're the ones that like made MPP popular.
But when they were making paddles before with the Pro Cannon, like they were just, remember, it was a JOOLA dupe. This was like a dupe company. And I think maybe dupe companies need to like use that to then make R&D to release things like the Inferno. But I really just believe that you put two people in the lab, you put 6-0 in the LUZZ. I feel like 6-0 is going to like there's no paddle that plays and feels like the Coral. The Coral is super. There's no paddle that plays and feels like the Opal, regardless of some of the deficiencies.
Yeah.
They're so unique and like in a massive sea of like duplication, iteration, and floating EPP, EVA, like stiff hollow. That's why
we say that phrase so much the last 6 months. Floating EPP.
Every time 6-0 has a new paddle, I get really curious because I know it's going to be different, and like I know it won't be a clone of something else. But LUZZ does have like a wider collection of winners that fit more people. Because if you want Gen 3, you're spending $90 on a Pro Cannon, or you want the glider, you go to the hybrid, or you want a foam, the Inferno is really unique, or you want something a little bit different, go to an LUZZ. Like I think there's more paddles for more players, but I think 6-0 has a higher ceiling. I don't know. I'm almost talking myself over to 6-0.
Yeah,
we did this last time, and I saved you, so you saved me. You make the call. What do you think?
The way you just explained it was so good, but it was I think it convinced me that 6-0 is the winner here.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just do it quick.
I think we picked them, but that was a tough draw. LUZZ could have won there,
dude, and like 6-0 is one of these like JOOLA, Selkirk. Maybe you could put Carbon. These are like pillar brands in pickleball. So I think for a brand like LUZZ to be able to compete that well in less than a year. Really major impressive. Shout outs to them.
Yeah.
But man, I hope next 6-0 paddle is a winner, or we're going to look stupid. Okay, next one we're going to jump to is Bread and Butter versus Franklin.
All right.
Again, I'll set the stage here. Franklin C45, and a really awesome, the first double thermoformed paddle. And they got the Pro line. They got Anna Lee. They got Patriquin. They had JW. They got the Johnson twins before they left. C45 is arguably one of my favorite Gen 3s, but they, have not made a durable spin texture. They haven't made a foam. And the Bread and Butter has got the Loco, which is a huge winner paddle of 2025. Just
a lot of momentum, a lot of discussion, a lot of really big fans right now in that Loco series, man. You just can't ignore that. It's just so good.
And I will say, like, it's not even just, I remember when we were on the 11.624 train like a year or two ago, when we were like, we really believe in this brand, but it hadn't seen mass market adoption yet. Like you go to a court, you'll see your Selkirks, you'll see your YOLOs, you'll see your Carbons. I now see so many Locos everywhere. And so I think they cracked that like lid on like
big time,
like a
props to them,
like a superstar. Cool. I think this one's a little bit easier. I just think Bread and Butter's winning so much right now off of the coattails of the Loco. I don't know how you don't pick Bread and Butter, largely just because we have not seen a new paddle from Franklin. I think in the next 2 or 3, I anticipate. I'll click Bread and Butter. I anticipate a new paddle from Franklin here soon. I hope it's great. I'm a big Franklin fan, and they got pros now that back them up. But we're just kind of in like where we're at in March. We're in like an innovation cycle where we haven't seen the newest paddles, and because of that, the Loco is too good to pass.
Yep, I agree. Bread and Butter.
Bread and Butter. Okay, another David and Goliath, but this time David is coming a little bit more equipped than a slingshot. David's got a J6 CR. David's got a J2 CR. David's got a J2 and F. David's got a JCFC Plus.
David's
J6,
got a
J3,
now approved
J4.
Blue Crystal UPA grit.
Honolulu Pickleball versus Almighty YOLA. Walk me through this one, because there's a winner, but there's also a discussion. So walk me through it.
Honolulu's, it's, as a consumer, I'm gonna go for a Honolulu paddle. You get a great performing paddle. You're getting kind of the latest and greatest. They're another brand that has just surprised me with their ingenuity, their ability to innovate and create something that's super unique from a seemingly just from like a source you wouldn't expect, right? And they just, dude, it's just one after another. They have not missed for a long time.
They don't
it's
miss.
Just good hit. And they've really dialed things in. They got their Blue Crystal grit stuff coming along next that they're going to throw on top of their existing
Which
winners.
you really could argue is their only thing that they were missing. It was
Right.
like when a month ago, we had this discussion on 11.624 Vapor or Power 2 versus J6 CR. And it was like, it's like you can argue different feels, but if you're going to argue spin, you have to go 11.624. Like, and so that was kind of where the conversation ended.
Yep.
You can't have the feel argument unless you have the spin argument, which goes first. Now, if you put them on a level playing field, we don't know spin results. Let's just say they're the same. Let's just say Hex Grit and whatever this Blue Grit, Blue Endurance, whatever it's called, are sort of equal. Now you can play the feel game again. Now Honolulu, now it's neck and neck, right? And they're the Power 2, there's only one paddle versus with there's a lot more shapes with Honolulu. You know, they're probably going to roll it out back to maybe the NF, the FC Plus. The thing I love about Honolulu is there's a paddle for everyone. And I don't even think some of their older paddles are like, there's often this trend on like Carbon releases the Barrage. Now I'm probably not going to go buy the Genesis. I have a different thinking for Honolulu. It's like, you might want the CR if you know your paddle preferences and you kind of want to tone down boomstick, stiff, hollowy feel. You might want the NF if you know you like a denser, more controlled feel. You might like the FC Plus if it's somewhere in the middle. I think there's more paddles for more people at Honolulu. And if you just slap the new grit texture on all of them, like for me, I was playing the FC Plus recently. I'm like, man, this thing feels really, really good. I just want more elite spin. And with JOOLA, the Pro 5 is great, but it's like you have one paddle more or less, or you want the 3 or the 4 or the 5, and they're all kind of the same. So what's the argument for JOOLA? Is there one?
Yeah, it's the argument for JOOLA is you can't ignore the market presence.
Yeah,
they're everywhere. Although Honolulu, I do feel like over the last year has made a pretty good push there. You'll see Honolulu's, quite a few of those, but it's no one beats JOOLA. No one matches the number of paddles in hands that JOOLA is able to do, regardless
that's right.
of how much press they get saying their paddles are too expensive. Their paddles have, what do you call it? Core crush challenges or whatever. Like, and they still just sell them. They're on more podiums than any other paddle in the pro scene. However, I from our perspective, knowing what we do know, and to the points you said, I like the performance, I like the price, and I like the variety from Honolulu. And
agreed.
The
100% agreed.
The only thing JOOLA has is branding and presence over Honolulu.
Yeah.
Honolulu, I know you guys are making money. It's time to update your website. You've had a Christmas bundle in your header for the last several months. I know some people I can introduce you to. You guys are fantastic, and I know you're busy making great paddles. You can hire someone.
A little bit less R&D, a little bit more brand development. You can do both. Do a little bit. Yeah. We're in March. Maybe they're just getting an early 26 jump. Right, they're trying to get these Christmas bundles out early.
I would like to see Honolulu make a little more effort there on their branding and their website. Make it spruce that up a little bit easier to navigate and see. But they're as far as the paddle, I mean, these guys, I mean, that kind of speaks to the value and the strength of Honolulu, right? Is like you look at, their paddle designs haven't always been fantastic. Their website isn't the prettiest, and they still are, their paddles just speak so above that. And
that's right.
Anyways, I give to Honolulu.
And they've continued, like they haven't stopped. We've gone from J2K to J2K Plus when they did like a EVA, and then they went to J2NF, and we were like, whoa, the NF is unique. And then the CR and the CR, maybe not like a massive jump. I think the FC Plus are going to, like, the NF was super unique. CR is different. They've continued to elevate, and the biggest missing part was a durable texture. And so now that is approved and pending results, which we don't know, man, they're like equally spooled up with 11.624, just like two really hard to beat brands that are constantly making themselves relevant. I agree. You can't put Honolulu outside of the conversation. Honolulu beats JOOLA.
Yeah.
Paddle performance and prices beats Affinity always to us, even though JOOLA probably could send them a lawsuit and make Honolulu disappear overnight.
Yep. All right. Next one.
All right. Last one here. Last one of the first round. We have Spartus versus Pickleball Apes. I really like this discussion. These are two small to medium-sized companies, actually probably both pretty small, but both really deep in innovation, both loved by paddle enthusiasts for different reasons. What are you thinking with Spartus versus Apes?
You know, I picked up and played the P1 again the other day, and it's that their grip texture or their permagrit is just so unique, right? Like I remember liking it and played well with it, and then I picked it back up, and I was like, yeah, this really does grab a little bit differently, maybe more than I recognized initially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their grit texture alone is going to propel them for a long time because it's theirs. They do it in the US. It can't be copied. It's got that coefficient of friction thing that nobody else has added in addition to the grit
it's money
that is working. The only drawback to the grit is it seems to make the paddle a little bit head heavier. Yeah. And but that you can get away with that with a hybrid and wide body. They got their elongated approved, but it's like a 120, 124 swing weight, which is
it doesn't really solve the problem.
But they do have a wide body that's getting approved, and I'm so excited for that wide body. I think that's going to be a big, even bigger winner than their P1. Anyways, I just think that alone is a huge thing for them and is going to propel them for a long time moving forward as they develop paddles, because no one else is gonna have that, at least not for the foreseeable future. Pickleball Apes, though, man, you like I just have so much respect for brands that are out there doing things differently, which is why a lot of these brands are even in this discussion anyways. And these guys are one of them. And I do like their Charm series. I think it plays well. It's definitely one of the better all court foams. And they have a more variety than Spartus, which is nice. But to me, that permagrit for Spartus is just too good and is going to be a big driver for them and gives Spartus the win for me.
I agree. I think Apes is doing as much innovation as Spartus did to the grit in the core.
Mm-hmm.
They were like pretty early on trying EPP, trying slicing and like dicing and core flexibility. And I remember back with the, what was the blue one? The Harmony. Mm-hmm. They were putting like really large foam inserts, and then they went to the Charm and did the same foam inserts, then with an EPP core. Like they are constantly just trying so many new things. Like they don't replicate anyone with things they're doing inside the paddle.
They're going to land, dude. Trust me. Like there's going to be something this year that lands for them, and it's going to be good.
I will say, just to tease, I have been hitting the new Pulse full foam. It's a winner. I don't know. I could be hitting a pre-production, but I love what I'm hitting. I completely agree that they are going to release a paddle that is a winner. I think they have some winners now, but I think the biggest thing that is holding Apes back is probably a durable spin texture. I think their spin has always been good, but I wouldn't ever say exceptional. I think they're one of those companies that have played along the rule book. They've never released like a sandpaper paddle, snuck it out. They've always stayed with Kevlar. And so I think I'd like to see something in the spin department from them, because now that spin is such an important conversation, if the paddle has a great firepower percentage or a great feel profile, but the spin's low, it's kind of a paddle killer. Yeah. And so
especially
I agree.
At the price point that they come to market with in that like 150 to 220 range. Like when you're in that price point, that durable grit becomes a bigger factor, right?
Right. So I love the uniqueness of what they're doing inside the paddles. Much like 6-0, every time I get a new Apes paddle, I'm super excited to hit it because I know it's going to be unique and not feel like anything I felt before. The difference between the Charm and the Joy and the Pulse are all very different. So I love that they are able to tinker inside. But I agree, permagrit, there's like some real magic with permagrit that is undeniable and is arguably, you could say, the best spinning paddle in all of pickleball. I would put that stamp on right now. So for me, it's that brings Spartus alone.
Yep.
You agree?
Yep. Give it to him. Okay.
So now we are down to the quarterfinals, the Elite 8. We have 11-6-24 versus Enhance, Selkirk versus Friday, 6-0 versus Bread and Butter, and Honolulu Pickleball versus Spartus.
Today's episode is brought to you by Pickleball Central. Hit the link in the description to apply a site-wide discount on almost all of your pickleball gear. And if you ever run into an issue, their customer service is top tier. Real people, quick responses that actually help you out. Go through our link, save some money, and support the show while you're at it.
So I think the next rounds will be a little bit quicker now that we've kind of established the stage with paddles and current current pickleball companies. But where are you at going back to 11.624 versus Enhance? It's 11.624, dude. I don't even have to hear you talk.
Yeah. If Enhance had a durable grit, does it change the picture for you?
Absolutely. Heck yeah. There's like, what, 5 or less companies that have durable grits?
Yeah. I just think we value that so heavily. And with that one being such a good one of the options, the only downside is that it's the UPA only, and is the
I guess
of their grit
proceed with
grit
caution,
compared to the
but
other
like
durable ones.
I have still haven't like yet to hear like a story of saying like UPA really ruined my life. Like if I'm an enthusiast, I want better spin. I'm always going to buy a paddle with better spin. Yeah. So what? You can buy 2 MPP turbos for the price of 1 Power 2. Give me the Power 2. I think Enhance is relevant because of a few of their profiles in the budget MPP, but we're talking pure performance. That Power 2 is one of those top 3 kings. 11.624 over Enhance, right?
Yep. Give it to him.
All right. This is a cool one. Selkirk versus Friday. So now we get Friday Aura Pro. They're on the come up versus big ol' Selkirk Boomstick Kings Infinigrit. They have a durable spin texture, even though it's maybe not, along some of these other ones. What do you pick here? Because the Boomsticks has been out for a while.
Yeah, I still think we go Selkirk. I think they have the paddle performance. They got some good options. They have the wide variety. They have the R&D. They have the lab
in the MOI system. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of things going for them, and I have to think that 6 months to a year from now, we're going to see more and more options, more and more creativity come out of Selkirk.
Yeah.
Friday, love the Aura Pro.
It's a winner,
but I don't. It's a winner, but are they going to hit again? I think that's a question mark. I think with Selkirk, you got to think that it's gonna keep hitting. Like they're just gaining more momentum, and for me, it's Selkirk.
Well said. I have no extra commentary. Completely agree. 6-0 versus bread and butter. This one almost feels easier than the last one. Where are you at with this one? I'm like, my immediate response is 6-0 here. Even though the Loco is probably more popular, to me, 6-0 is a little bit more of an innovative brand coming out with new technology. So I trust a future paddle will be pretty unique, creative, has durable spin texture with diamond tough. I'm 6-0 over the one higher winner of the Loco over the Coral, but I'm putting the brand of 6-0 just above the hype of the Loco. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, performance potential wise and future stuff, you got to think that 6-0 is going to find something within their platform and keep innovating and doing, bringing stuff to the market. That's cool. But even still, man, like this Loco, okay, maybe they don't have the same innovative capabilities, but that these manufacturers are going to figure out they're going to come out with durable grid options.
Yeah, widespread,
and it's going to get widespread. Bread and butter is going to pick one up. They put that on their Loco, and they're good at finding what works. Making a little iteration tweak, and maybe they land another. And it has a durable grit,
right?
And even putting a durable grit on the Loco, that alone, I think people keep buying it.
Absolutely.
And it's not as cut and dry to me as you say here. Like there's part of me that wants to say bread and butter here because it is just so prevalent right now, and that Loco is still so fun and so good. And it's held water really well, even with all there's a lot of fancy maybe different paddles, but even so, with bread and butter's their iteration of the floating foam, it still has its own little character there, a little firmer feel to it, and it's not super, it's not over the top jumpy. It
softens up nicely. And you're right. I've seen so many comments of people say, if the Loco comes out with a durable grit, that will be my main for life. I have seen that comment. So you're right. Maybe I'm underestimating the hype and what the Loco has done for pickleball. I think I do see more Locos than I see 6-0s out there, because if I'm seeing a 6-0, it's the Coral. But you're right, and you're right. We're probably maybe 6 months or less away from widespread lower end durable grit textures through companies that that they can just purchase this. And so what does 6-0 come out with in the next 6 months? Why bread and butter tries to get a durable grit texture on their winner, the Loco?
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what do we value here more? What do we think that the kind of the platform and position that 6-0 is with their innovation outweighs the presence, the quality of their Loco, the I don't know. Like, I guess, do you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the two things we're trying to decide against. You almost got to flip a coin because there's arguments for both. I want to make you pick first. I guess you already picked.
I'm still
Are you sticking with?
I'm still 6-0, 60-40. I believe that they can come out with a better paddle than the one winner of the Loco, even though it's a massive winner. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think I can understand and give 6-0 the edge there.
All right, 6-0 to the semifinals.
That's tough because
we can revisit it. If you know what, we'll talk about Honolulu and Spartus here. If something strikes you and we need to go back and revisit, that's tough.
Okay.
That's tough.
We'll say 6-0 for now.
Honolulu pickleball. We've set the stage. Spartus, in my opinion, the most unique spin texture in all of pickleball, regardless of the deficiencies of only having a hybrid, a heavier elongated on the way, and just a power option, not a whole line. Like there's a million great paddles that you could buy for Honolulu. There's one awesome paddle that you could buy for Spartus. Where you could say Spartus has the coolest innovation in all of pickleball right now. Let's just say that claim versus 10 awesome paddles. How do those bounce up for you?
Yeah, that's the question here. And I also think it's cool that Permagrit is USAP approved. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Maybe it's not a big deal that some of these others are UPA only, like Honolulu is UPA only, and maybe that becomes less of a deal over time. But at the moment, like right now, for Permagrit to be USAP approved is like a big deal.
Yeah, because no one else has been able to do a durable grit texture within USAP. Right.
Yeah, and for it to be as good as it is, and that's like that makes that one innovation even better, right? And so I still pick Honolulu. I think the variety there
because of blue grit
outweighs the one, and but I'm making an assumption. I haven't played the blue grit yet.
It's true. It's dangerous.
I don't. So it is dangerous. So it's almost
speculative.
It's speculative, which it makes me kind of changing my mind a little bit here, and it's this Permagrit is. It's their platform that Spartus is going to build off of. Okay, they have it. They're making sales now. They have revenue.
Yeah.
They have the capability to scale and turn into multiple.
It's a good question. And I'm giving
multiple stuff.
I'm giving 6-0 future outlook saying I trust them to hit another winner. Why can I not do the same thing with Spartus just because Honolulu has NF, FC plus, CR? And I'm like, I like this lineup more than just the P1, even though I like the P1's grit over maybe speculative blue grit. Why do I not choose to believe? Because any Spartus that comes out now has got the P1, and that's the magic. So that's a great opinion because for me, as like I don't connect with the P1 as much as I want. I pick it up and play it. For some reason, I think I play better with some of the Honolulu paddles just because there's a spectrum of power and pop. But I would be so ecstatic to try another Spartus in the future in the next 2 or 3 months if they come out with a different option that has a different field profile. So you're right. So we need to incorporate future outlook versus a really good lineup right now. I think I'm still Honolulu with the incorporation of a durable grit. I know it's speculative. My guess is it's going to be similar performing. I saw some of John Q's early numbers from his podcast. It seemed like they were on par right now with Hex Grit. I assume this Blue Endurance Grit is going to mirror Hex Grit or come in slightly worse than be unique like the P1 Permagrit. But if that's the case, let's just speculate and say it's similar to Hex Grit. I think the lineup of Honolulu, the Elite Shapes, J6, edges, one super innovative spin texture. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think we can give Honolulu this one for those reasons you said. However, man, if we do this 6 months from now, I wonder what this conversation would be.
Yeah, I still trust Honolulu, but how cool is it for Spartus to have such a good innovation that it can carry them almost into the semifinals just because of spin texture? Is that not awesome?
Right.
That's what I love about pickleball. The spin is so good and so unique with this paddle that they have one heavy hybrid competing against a fleet of Honolulu paddles. And we almost want to give it to them.
Considering it, we're almost going to give it to them.
Yeah. Okay. I like this. We got 6-0 bread and butter. You still good with that? Where are you at? You can sell me a bread and butter.
6-0.
Okay.
Keep 6-0. We'll keep going.
All right. You want to bring?
We're in the semis now?
You want to bring LUZZ into the semis? We want to bring it back? We can just skip it all the way back to the semis. We are 11-6-24. We've made it to our final four. 11-6-24 versus Selkirk. and then 6-0 versus Honolulu Pickleball. And for a reminder, last year we had Carbon versus 11-6-24. I think we had Carbon beating Honolulu in the semifinals. So just setting the stage here. 11-6-24. Let's jump back over. 11-6-24 versus Selkirk. That's a tough one. I wish
Selkirk was not even close to here last year.
Yeah. How crazy.
I think they lost first round.
How crazy.
Maybe won first round, but yeah, they really turned things around.
Dude, so many. The boomstick has revitalized Selkirk. The arrow was good, and I think the arrow was actually underrated, but foam was like just so ready to be popular. The boom, man, that everyone has a boomstick. That's like 50%. You walk into any pickleball club, 50% of the paddles are boomsticks.
Isn't it wild?
It's ridiculous. It's terrible. It's awful. It is bad for pickleball. It's an elite paddle, but it's bad for pickleball. Okay. 11-6-24. Oh, man. Okay, tell me what do you take between Infinigrit and Hexgrit? Tell me about those two. What do you like more there?
Hexgrit is more durable, grabs the ball better.
Okay. Paddle. Tell me paddle feel. What do you like what paddle do you prefer? Boomstick, Power 2?
I think both of those paddles are the flagships and are carrying the brands. There's like they don't have as both. I don't think either of them have as good of a shop as say Honolulu does as far as options.
I agree.
Though I think Selkirk has more options than not necessarily. Like the jelly beans from 11-6-24, I think are still relevant as control paddles, and they're a good price. Selkirk has the arrows that are good, but yeah. The boomsticks, like their MOI system, like it works really well. It's still unique. Like it's pretty unique, and its power and pot profile. The Power 2, I think, is a little more approachable. They offer multiple shapes.
Tiny bit toned down. Yep.
A little bit toned down, and then I think the spin is better. But no, they're both solid. I'm just trying to think big picture. Okay, I don't like, they're both good. I'm not gonna say okay, this paddle's gonna carry it to the next round for me over this series.
Yeah,
I think I have to look beyond that series and look, okay, what else they got going on. And I think Selkirk I know they're iterating on their Infinigrit. Maybe it's not the top of the line now, but like I know that's something that's on their mind.
And they keep making iterations of it. I think they make every new formulation of their spray on Infinigrit is better than the last. We've seen an evolution from back when the 007. So I do believe with every new paddle or every new that Infinigrit will only get better, regardless of, let's just say, maybe like Hexgrit or Permagrit have higher ceilings of technology. Mm-hmm. I still think Infinigrit is better than raw carbon fiber. And I will believe that Selkirk will continue to tinker. I trust that their formulation will get better. Also, a call out to 11-6-24. You can buy the Power 1, the original Vapor Power, all of those paddles. They're $99. So
yeah, they're just trying to clear house.
They're trying to clear house, but like, man, you bought that for $9.
Go get those guys.
That's a great paddle too. So
yeah.
Dude, I think I'm kind of on Selkirk right now.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking too. I feel like the full package goes to Selkirk over 11-6-24, though the spin formulation is in favor of 11-6-24.
I agree. The MOI system, regardless of like it felt obvious, no one else has really done it. And now we get to see the evolved MOI system through the Dauntless. And it's like, it's refined. They reduced their weight. They went to 5 grams. They did like a slightly different clip structure. But yes, I mean, between Infinigrit and the MOI tuning, and I do have some speculation. I kind of heard some rumors of what Selkirk's working on. That's a direction I'm really curious about. 11-6-24 with the Power 2, I think their stock is at an all-time high for the brand. Foam core, one of the best spin textures in all of pickleball. So, but the fact that they're peaking right now, not that they won't peak higher in the future, but Selkirk can still meet them where they're at just because of the innovations they brought in outside of then just spin technologies. I mean, the boomstick still has the biggest damn sweet spot in all of pickleball. I mean, that's really impressive.
But it's not very durable,
yeah,
which has been a challenge. Like they do have the edge guard issues. I'm actually surprised they haven't, like that hasn't
reformulated
really
a little
resolved
bit
yet.
But I mean, with people buying YOLAs, at least Selkirk's, at least their warranty system and their customer service is elite. So if you're going to have paddle problems, that's like, keep your boomstick. We'll send you another one.
It's the company to have it
That's
with.
the company to have it with. Not that you're saying like, this company won our paddle championships because of their great customer service. That seems lame. But I think I agree. I think I want to give it to Selkirk because the boomstick was so influential. They've had a lot of really unique designs, and I will choose to believe that their next elite top tier paddle will bring something new again that maybe overreaches the current Power 2.
Okay, I agree. Selkirk it is.
Okay. I didn't think that. I really thought we were going to pick 11.624.
Yeah, we talked ourselves into that one.
I'm behind Selkirk. Okay, 6-0 Honolulu Pickleball. 6-0 I feel like has been like sneaking a couple wins these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, like edge to edge.
Right.
Now we got Honolulu in.
And Honolulu
doesn't feel as tight.
Doesn't feel as tight. I'm going to click Honolulu. You tell me why.
It's all the things we said before.
Yeah.
Like all their paddles are hits. They don't really have a loser in there. That they just keep going up. Like their trajectory. Like they just it's innovation. It's improvement. Like I think they're matching innovation with 6-0, which is amazing.
Yeah, that CR core is wild. If you like take a peek at all the different like densities and sections and different foams. Yeah, no doubt. Really the biggest con was the durable spin texture. So there's some outlook on saying we haven't tested this, we don't know. Maybe it comes in and it's the worst performing spin texture and we're like, I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt it. Honolulu they've never given us a reason to like doubt them. Every time we're like, wow, FC was great. FC Plus was good. Durability issues, NF. Wow. CR, great. I would trust that the next 6 months of Honolulu is just really, really strong. They seem to follow trends well. They seem to be agile. They seem to be great listeners. Yeah, I go Honolulu over 6-0 too.
Yeah, dude, mad respect for them for listening and figuring things out. Like they've changed their shapes a few times until they found the right formulation. And they have, I know we've said this before, and we'll keep saying it until somebody matches them because they have the best shapes in the game. And that goes a long ways to have a lightweight, super forgiving paddle in combination with the other characteristics that they bring to the table with their paddle and feel profiles. And it's tough to beat. Yeah,
and it's like their J2 shape was like, coming in with like stock 7 twist weights and like 111 swing weights. And they're like, hey guys, the handle's really short. And instead of just like them saying, yeah, it's a short handle, but the twist weight's over 7, so suck it up. They're like, what if we just figure out a way to give you a long handle? And like a month or 2 later, they come out with the J2 like long handle and the stats are the same. And then you get your 5.6 inch handle. So it's like they've been able to like overcome even like their small misses with just quick innovation. Yep. I agree. But what does that mean? The championship round, Selkirk, a titan in the pickleball industry versus clever, cunning, agile, on the come up, stock market forever increasing in stock price, Honolulu Pickleball. Where are you at with those two? I don't know where I'm at.
I just know that people are there's going to be a group of people listening to this and they'll be like,
pitchforks.
Yes, but Honolulu. Do you know what their commissions are? Tell me their commissions.
So speaking of that, now's a good time to go to our sponsored ad read. This episode is sponsored by Honolulu Pickleball. No, Honolulu.
No, I hope people know us well enough to look past that bull crap and know and listen to everything that we just said and our reasoning behind the picks we've made and know that that's not why Honolulu's here. Okay, got that out of the way. Honolulu Selkirk. Oh boy. Strong arguments for both. The lineup, the pricing is really strong on the Honolulu side. Oh man.
Nah. I have clarity. I see it. My
Tell
eyes.
me. I don't have the clarity.
Why?
If you have it, give it to me.
It's Honolulu. It's because they have a larger portfolio. Portfolio is such a stupid word. They have a larger collection. They have more paddles for more players. You can go everywhere from like a denser NF all the way to a more hollow CR. They don't have an elite firepower, but if you really need more power and pop than a CR, then I guess you can go buy the boomstick and you're a boomstick junkie. The CR is plenty enough power for every player. They have shapes. They have a collection. The boomstick, while it's a great paddle, It's just the boomstick. There's 2 shapes, which is fine. I'm not upset that they don't have a hybrid, but I'm like, they don't have another. They have the Dauntless now, but the Dauntless hasn't picked up enough, like a lot of steam. Not saying it's only been out for a little bit, but like if the Dauntless, if the Dauntless was
control paddle,
if the Dauntless was great, I think there would be more waves right now. We talk about this storm cloud that moves around to hype paddles, and it's not on the Dauntless. So you could say that Selkirk's second foam paddle, third, I guess you go 008, boomstick, Dauntless, and we're kind of back down again. We're waiting for their new labs, right? 333. It's Honolulu, and now with them embracing a durable grit texture, which again I don't want to give them the win because of they at least they're trying something. It's like Carbon, give us a durable grit texture. JOOLA, give us a durable grit texture. Honolulu, give us a durable grit texture. And Honolulu's like, all right, I just got one approved, right? These other big brands haven't done that yet. And so for me, for the collection of foam paddles, to say like, I could go give my dad a paddle and ask him what he wants for his game and then fit him into the Honolulu ecosystem, fit him into the shapes, fit him into the paddle and the power and the cat, like versus I'm not going to just buy my dad a boomstick. So for me, that's Honolulu pickleball.
The clarity you found.
Argue me back. Argue me back.
Argue you back. Okay. I'm trying to. I want to say you're wrong, and that Selkirk is going to win because they're bigger. They have potentially more. They have more potential to create something super unique. But at the same time, Honolulu does it. They bring their own stuff in multiple ways. They've done it with the spin and the core now, and you can't really give that edge to Selkirk anymore. And the variety is it's easier to buy a paddle from Selkirk. It's easy. Their website is much better organized. Their marketing is very clean and crisp. It's easy to understand. I think that they do a good job of describing their paddles, what you get from them. They have shoes. Like if you want to incorporate larger stuff, they have the full package. They got the shoes, they got the clothes, and that stuff's all legit.
Super strong brand, tons of credibility. They're dumping pros, but they're just tricks and strategy. Like all of their gear is great.
Yeah, like if we're I think your argument stands really, really strong on the paddle front. But if we go beyond paddles, we look at more than that, then that puts a lot of ticks in the box of Selkirk.
Yep, certainly.
And but I guess if we're primarily paddle guys, and with that being the lens that I'm looking through, I'm going to give it to Honolulu. But if we look at the full picture of branding options, clarity of the catalog, the shoe. I mean, you're just doing everything. The contributions back to the sport as far as the pro scene sponsoring tournaments. Selkirk they do tons of videos, instructional videos. They do tons of camps. They do tons of donations. Like they do a lot for pickleball, and like from that kind of bigger scope, I want to give it to Selkirk.
Okay.
And I guess that's where I'm at. But if we're looking primarily through a paddle lens, I think we do Honolulu. So
so Pat, are you crowning 2 winners?
No, we can't. I'm saying that's my criteria. You pick the winner now. What are we picking? Are we picking the bigger scheme? Are we kind of narrowing on the paddles a bit?
Paddles. All
right, give it to Honolulu.
Paddle.
Push the button.
Paddles. Push the button. The button has been pushed. Ooh, that's a fun little. Congratulations, Honolulu Pickleball. You have won the 2026 Pickleball Effect Racket Bracket. Not the shoes and branding and YouTube and backpacks. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with our picks? Were we wrong to get rid of LUZZ in the first round? Is 6-0 overhyped? Should Carbon have won? Is Friday on the rise? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? By no means are we true experts in the field. We're just 2 dudes who love pickleball, who want to talk paddles. These are our thoughts. If you have your own thoughts, make your own damn podcast. And that's it. You got anything else to wrap up this episode?
Dude. Thanks for doing that with me. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And I just want to say, okay, like we had fun talking about these brands and our thoughts here, but like just shout out to all these guys. Like these are all incredible brands.
Yeah, so much.
These were really difficult decisions. And I think it's worth saying something that we were just like these are the 16 we picked. These are the ones we wanted to talk about. These are the 16 that we feel like have the most momentum, are making moves, and are doing really cool things inside the pickleball space. We're fans of all these guys, and use code PBEffect and shop at Pickleball Central when you're buying paddles from these guys, so that we can do this again next year.
That's right. Yeah, and if you disagree, just go buy all 16 paddles and let us know. Go let us know.
Yeah.
And if you're going to buy them, use code PBEffect. But we appreciate it. That's a ton of fun, dude. That took a while.
Yeah, I didn't look at the time. Yeah, it's been a minute.
All right, sweet. We'll catch you all next week.